Hello, this is Brooklyn Bubs. You may remember me from such things as Hanukkah. I love being a Jewish woman, and so from time to time I have these, I have young friends, I have tall friends. Sometimes they say to me, Bubby, tell me about this holiday. I don't need to know the whole Megillah. Here we are, it's a new holiday coming up. I mean, the holiday's not new, but it's a new month. We got Kamala in the White House. We got new president. I've got my time capsule. We're gonna go back in time. We'll also go quickly in time. You know what I'm saying? Because we all got places to go. By the end, you're gonna know a little bit about Purim. Let's begin. Long ago, Esther and Mordechai lived in Persia, and they were Jewish. Bubby, I think you're forgetting a few details here. Don't forget to tell the children about the wonderful town in Persia called Shushan. Get your shoes shine. And that's where Mordechai, Uncle Mordechai, who was the leader of the Jews at the time, Esther was his niece. Some people say they were cousins. We're not going to get mixed up in that right now. But Mordechai took care of Esther as though she were his own. The king of Persia at the time was King Ahasuerus. He was sort of like the wind. He didn't like the Jews. He liked the Jews. He liked his wife. He didn't like his wife. And so he was married to a woman before Esther, and her name was Vashti. And she was later, in commentaries, known as a bit of a feminist. King Ahasuerus came. He said, I want my wife to come and dance around and dress up for me, and I want to float her around in front of the king's men. And Vashti she said, listen, no. I'm not going to do this. She might have had a skin problem, but that didn't matter. She was not having it. She was just not having it. Listen, it was a very different time. It was sort of different, not so different, from Kamala's shoe to your ears. And he banished her. Banished, we don't know. So Vashti's gone, and the king being a king, and he says, I need to find me another wife. So there's a pageant. Like, oh, Miss America. No, it was not a pleasant thing. Let's just get that straight. Esther wants no part of it, but Uncle Mordechai says, listen, Esther, this could be your chance, all right? Get in there. There's a pageant. Esther goes. She doesn't do anything. She's like me, natural beauty. And the king really takes a shine to her. And so they get married. But another thing happened. Mordechai, one day, he's just walking along, minding his own business, and he overhears these two shmagegis work for Ahasuerus, and they're plotting to kill Ahasuerus. Mordechai told the king that there was a plot against him, and so he essentially saved the king's life. And that's something to remember for later. And this king, Ahasuerus, had a prime minister named Haman. Listen, kids, I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. Haman was this terrible man. He wanted to destroy the Jews, shocker, and he was going to do it on the 13th of Adar. He wore a hat looked like a triangle with 3 corners, jerk. This Haman was so awful, but the king, he had these crazy decrees. All the people of Persia had to bow down to Haman because he wore this stupid necklace with an idol on it. You were familiar with the Hanukkah video. You know that we as Jews, one important thing is we don't bow down to idols. We have a one God, not a necklace, okay? Oh, Bubby's getting riled up! So Mordechai got wind of this, that Haman wanted to kill the Jews, and so he told Esther, he says, you got to tell the king. And he looked at her and he said, Esther, this is your moment. You were born for this, okay? Meanwhile, remember when I told you about how Mordechai had overheard the people that were going to kill the king and then he saved his life? Okay, here we are. We're back to that story now. In the middle of all of this, Haman's trying to kill everyone. Esther's trying to tell the king. The king, he just finds out that it was in fact Mordechai who had saved his life. And so, the king, he likes to party, he likes to celebrate, so he calls in Haman and he says, Haman, what would you do for a man that you wanted to celebrate for saving your life? And Haman says, oh, well, I would throw him a big party, I would put him on I'd have horses, and I'd have the whole town take the day off. The king says, well, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. And Haman, such a stupid idiot, such a stupid man with the triangle hat and that whole thing, mean man, he thinks the king's talking about him, so he's planning an elaborate celebration, but there's no way it's about him. And so the king says, great, get Mordechai. And Haman's curses foiled again. Just one more thing. When Esther married the king, she kept from him that she was Jewish. And not because she was ashamed, but because it was a different time and you didn't just go around screaming, I'm Jewish. And not like today. I'm going to get verklempt now. It's going to happen. We're really at the apex of this story, if you will. The role of Esther will be played by Bubby. Vintage Gucci take. Hey, King, have you enjoyed these parties? I just want you to know that I am a Jew. As a Jew, I must implore you to save my life and my people's life. Please, you must end the decree that Haman has to kill the Jews on the 13th of Adar. Bobby reading for Old King. What are you talking about? It's a decree by you that Haman could kill the Jews. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. My queen! I love you! We're gonna kill Haman now! Killings are off! Yeah, that's right. Thanks for saving us. Fun fact. It's out that a king's decree, once it's out there, wink wink, you can't stop a decree. And so even though Haman was gone out of the picture, his lot to kill the Jews was still in effect, essentially. So Esther, she had been given the power to allow the Jews to gather and they could protect themselves. And so on that 13th day of Adar, you remember that, they stopped all these shmagegis who were trying to destroy them. And then the decree was done. And then we get to celebrate. So my friends of all ages and heights, how do we celebrate Purim? Let's go find out. Read the book of Esther. And this is the story of which I just told you more elaborately. And whoever's reading, the rabbi, whoever's reading the Megillah, every time they say Haman, we shake the grogger. We're shaking our grogger. So, Haman, and you dress up as a queen. Maybe it's Esther, maybe it's Vashti, and maybe it's some other favorite queens of yours. We Jews, we love to eat, we love our sweets, we love our salts, and so they created a cookie. It's called the Haman-Tashin, the Haman-Tashin. You put jam in it. I never quite liked it. It symbolizes stupid Haman. Now with children, and then one more tradition that people do during Purim is they send a mashalach manot. You might want to look that up. I keep forgetting it. I'm an old lady. And you send to your friends a little gift basket, a Haman-Tashin, some beverages, maybe a little gin, and here we have a notebook and we have a candle of our favorite queens, our favorite goddesses, RBG, a plushie, and of course, a grogger. Oh yeah, she's exhausted. Everywhere around the world. The grog in America.